Welcome to the Jordan Leer program, book report edition. I read Roots. I got no roots. You like Dua Lipa? I read Roots, the saga of an American family. 687 goddamn pages. This was a long one. Went by in a breeze though, man. Roots. Never seen the miniseries. Never seen it at all. Would have liked to have watched it before this shit. Didn't. I don't know. I just want to pump out this fucking shit. Roots. I read it, and it was full of white people doing bad shit. I gotta say. And I don't know if I'm the right guy to fucking do this book report, okay? I think as, I like to add comedic elements into my book reports, And I think if I did that with this one, I think it'd be dug up and I'd get canceled. However, I think I have too many hours of stuff people would consider offensive, even though I'm an idiot and I have no idea what I'm fucking talking about. This is whatever. I just want to call it now. I'm saying I will get canceled, but I just want to call it. I just want you to know that I know that you were going to, okay, no matter what, okay. And I will not say the N-word, no matter how many people subscribe to my Patreon and request it. All of you are requesting it. I'm kidding. See, that's a joke right away. All right. Dude, this book is like, every time I read a book and it kicks ass, you're like, that's the best book I've ever read in my life. Best one. It was another one of those. This gave me like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix fucking vibes. You know what I mean? Except there's nothing good happening. That's not true. It is. This is how the book goes. Right away, in every scenario, it's like you're kind of freaked out. You're like, oh, man, this is crazy. And then it settles in. And you're like, all right, this is life. And then it's like, oh, man, this is really good for some reason. And then some other part comes in, and it's like, oh, this is the worst shit ever, and I don't want to keep reading, This was the easiest read I've ever had because it's written so well, and it's so, like, you can just... unfortunately, it's so you can visualize all of it. But it's like the hardest read because it's like so hard to fucking get through. And it's all real. It's a true story. Okay. Now, the author, Alex Haley, is that, what the fuck? Yeah. This guy, he's born in like the 1930s. And I think he wrote this around the 60s and shit. And this is like a story that was passed on from his family about the original ancestor, their great grandfather that was first brought over on a slave ship that they called the African, because a lot of people were born into slavery. They were African American. They were African Americans. They just called him the fucking N-word here. That was the first time he ever heard that word ever. But he had heard this story because it was supposed to get passed on, and they always heard this terminology that, like, he pointed at a river and called it a cambi blongo. He pointed at a guitar, called it a co. He'd pass on these African words, or sounds at least, and it gets muffled through generations. But apparently the guy he did the research and, like, matched up shit and looked through old slave records and all that shit and went back and found the old original African village and found out this guy's name was Kunta Kinte. Disputed, and we'll round it out to that after, but it's pretty fucking incredible, no matter what. Okay, it's pretty incredible. So here's how Rootsy went down. Canceled probably for that too. I don't even know what that means. I was just fucking with a word. Roots starts with Kunta Kinte, born 1750 in an African village, and right away it's like, his mom, she gives birth to him, and right away she goes back to fucking work at the fucking rice paddy. And he's sitting there in his little tent, and she, feeds him, but she's like working, Women of this fucking tribe, they work. Fucking birthing and working, Anywho. So it's just a little crazy just thinking about, I don't know, like I've been fucking wiping my niece's ass the past couple months, and like there's like high-tech shit around. We got Huggies, we got fucking... disposable diapers. We got wet wipes, disinfectants. And they were just like, we're in the rice paddy. Fucking kids over here. Okay, hope he doesn't die. Hope a fucking tiger doesn't come over here and fucking snatch his ass up. Happens. Hopefully the fucking white man doesn't come steal him one day. The white man called the Taubab. They call the white man the Taubab. all throughout this book, or Kunta Kinte does. And I think people need to really bring that term back. I think during, I'm just saying, whenever next time you talk about defunding the police, call them the Taubab. Just sling that in there. I like that. Okay. Am I uncanceled now? Oh, it's on the other side. He's born in this village, and I don't know. He's got a pretty fucking kick-ass dad. His family is like known as being fucking good and shit. He's got a good history. He's named after his great-grandfather or his grandfather that like was a badass that prayed for rain for them and shit, and it worked. And so he's growing up, and you know, it's like they've got school and shit. They measure people. They call them each little generation of boys like a CAFO. So like you're in the first CAFO, age 0 to 5. Second CAFO, like 5 to fucking 15, and then you got to go to your man training, which is like the way he sounds like it's like you're out there with fucking Survivor Man, and he's like, figure it out, you know. They go for their man training and get the shit beat out of them. They kind of got to do some Spartan shit, hit each other a little bit, and hunt for food. But they learn, you know. It's not just like the fucking frat boys Hell Week where they, you know, drench you in fucking baking powder. I don't even know what they did. I wasn't in a frat. I could have. I don't know. They just do annoying gay, like a lot of gay stuff, a lot of homophobic fucking gay stuff. I think they do in the frats. Well, I've heard. Well, I would have fit in perfectly. Canceled again. Take a shot every time Jordan gets canceled during the Roots book review. Kunta Kinte. So I don't know. He gets to be about like 17. He's been through a lot of shit. He's kind of living on. He's got his own hut at this point. He's got like 3 younger brothers, you know, and he's starting to like think about some chicks. He's like, he's got a fucking good life. I'll tell you, this dude, he's fucking like enjoying. He's like out in the night sky thinking about how beautiful it is and just how grateful he is for all the stuff. And you know, like everyone's got hardships and everything, but you know, he's feeling good. You know, there's always the impending threat of the Taubab because that had happened in his village, and there was always the known, and they talked about how it happened more and more. You know, this village, looking back through the rest of the reading, it's in Gambia, the West Africa. Okay, and apparently it's like near where there's like a island called like St. James or something, some big fucking slave island that like the British people and the French people like fought over some shit. I didn't realize that. If I'm right on that, and it's called St. James, that's fucking crazy that Epstein Island is called Little St. James. I mean, where's the fucking deep, dark Illuminati about that? And I don't mean dark about fucking black people, okay? Canceled. Take a shot of your Croy. Anyways. Okay. So he's out there one night looking for some wood to make a drum. Because fucking he wants to make a kick-ass drum, man. He wants to fucking get it banging. I don't know. He's like 17 years old. And dude, it's like you're 100 pages in this book. And it's kick-ass. It's just like you're fucking there. And you feel like you're learning about history and shit. He gets captured. He gets smacked over the head. And right away, he's like, oh my God. He like knows. Like, fucking Taubab. Fucking Taubab. Fucking Bob got him. Fuck. Fights for his life, you know, little success too, you know, fucking he's kicking ass. Guy's fucking taken. And it's like, dude, right at that point, I'm 100 pages in, and I'm like, don't want to finish the book. I think I know the way this goes. And it goes that way. It goes that way, unfortunately. Dude, starting with, so this is what I'm talking about. It's like, it starts a little crazy. Like, to me, he's like born in the rice paddy, like worried about the kid. Then you're like, oh, wait, he's got a kick-ass life. And then it's like, oh, fuck. He's never going to see his family again. And he even says, he's like, I knew I would never see Africa again. Ugh. So he's on the ship, and that's no fucking good. And they're pretty much like, you know, they're stacked like worse than you stack like modern livestock, you know, and that's what it's compared to throughout the whole cancel, take a shot. But that's what it's compared to the entire time. You know, that's what they're treated like. And it's people from different villages. You know, he doesn't recognize anyone from his own village, you know, and some of them speak similar languages, and they're and it's like, dude, you know, they're pretty much made to like fucking like shit all over each other. They smell bad. They're not tended to. They're fucking abused. All the women are raped throughout the whole history in the book and continue on. All of them are forever. And it's crazy. And it's like the worst shit ever. And then there's like some moments where it's like they start talking, communicating, and they start to sort of come together. They're like, yeah, we all just need to wait for a right time to fucking escape. And one guy kind of jumps the gun and grabs a machete and cuts like 3 white dudes' heads off. And you're like, yeah, kill Bob, kill that motherfucker, dude. And then everyone gets captured again, and fucking Kunta Kinte is still fucking captured, even though they got a victory. So I don't know. That's what I'm talking about, where it's like, okay, you get some fucking wins in there, and what happens next? What happens next? Did I mention that my only reference of ever seeing this show before was the Chappelle Show skit on this shit, where he's fucking around as the Roots, the outtakes. He's getting whipped, and he turns around and fucking whips the fucking guy whipping him. He's like, motherfucker! God. Just so you know, that was my introduction, so. Blame Dave Chappelle's fucking. Cancel him. Cancel him. It's your fault. Dave. No, cancel Dave. Believe me, people have tried. People have tried. I don't think it's going to work. He's too good. All right. So this motherfucker comes to America. All right. Excuse this fucking privileged white man as he takes a puff, because it's 12 minutes in. I think this is going to be a long fucking cast. You in? Did you read this shit? If you watch this shit, I think it's pretty similar. There's a few fucking story details I looked up on Wikipedia that are quite different, but, it's kind of the fucking gist. They dramatize some stuff up a little bit more. This book was released as fiction, to his credit, as, when people try to fact check it. He is saying, he's like, I can't say like every second of these stories that I write at the moment that they're fucking true, but this story was passed on. But he's like, I will say everything I wrote is stuff I've actually heard of happening. So this happened. This shit happened. It happened. Anyways, Kunta Kinte, gets off the fucking boat. He's at the slave auction. He's sold. And he's just like, it's terrible. Everyone's pleading. Like, some ladies at the auction are like killing their babies because they're like, don't fucking put my baby through this fucking shit. He's tossed off. Ugh. So he's sold, and right away he tries to fucking run off. He runs away fucking 4 times, okay? And it's like, it's interesting to me because, when I picture like slavery, I picture like people chained up to stuff the entire time and dragged around. And I'm sure there's a lot of that too. But like right away he's on there and he sees like how obedient all the other slaves are, and he's like confused by it. He's like, how are you just fucking listening to this guy? He's like, I'm fucking bouncing. Fuck this, dude. It's like me, how I've acted. Here I am putting myself in his shoes. Fucking cancel me. Take a shot. It's like me at every shitty job I have whenever the fucking boss starts like getting like weird and serious and telling us to act like a fucking team, and I'm like, I'm out of here, That's what Kunta Kinte does, and they chop his foot off. That fucking sucks. They give him a choice between his dick and his fucking foot, and he's like, all right, well, I want to have kids, But for me, I don't know. Maybe because if I don't want to have kids, maybe I'd be like, but you still want to jerk off. Like, what do you have to look forward to all day? Ugh. Nothing's good. Loses his foot, and you're like devastated because you heard about this. This dude's pretty badass. He fucking knows how to kick some ass, and he runs in the woods. He's trying to get away. It's like, that does not help our chances. Because all you're thinking in your heart is like, how can he possibly get back and get on the boat and fucking go back to, how can he go? He's like, ugh. Anyways, he meets this motherfucker called the Fiddler. A good old name for a nice character. The guy plays the fiddle, and the Fiddler is a slave, and he I don't know, he basically tells him, he's like, yo, dude, quit speaking African. This is your new life. This is the way it is. So do it. This is what you're gonna have to fucking. He's like, I don't know. He's like, you got this new master that's not gonna cut your foot off either because some new guy bought him. Anyways, he's like, yo, this guy's like rich, and I even make money. He's like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Money and shit. And fucking Kunta Kinte, he looks around and he does not like the look of things. Like, he doesn't get along with all the other black people. He like comments a lot about their like skin tone, and that's a big thing. They like, he goes over about how many all the fucking raping, like how intermixed the blood is between white and black people. And he's like, I recognize. He's like, I'm the fucking blackest person here, as Chappelle's show would say. Fucking, he's the fucking original Wesley Snipes. You know what I mean? Cancel me. Take a shot, please. So what else happened? Oh yeah. He's judging everybody, and he calls slaves that have like white fathers, you know, that they have. He calls them like high yaller. Take a shot, cancel. But a new fucking race terminology. And some of them are called mulatto or whatever. I don't know if those are offensive terms. I read mulatto in a Tarantino script. He's talking about Rosario Dawson. I don't know if that's offensive. Take a shot. All right. So they fucking start calling him Toby. He doesn't like that. He is always like, no, my name is fucking Kunta Kinte. Tries to hold on to like as much of his African heritage as he can, which is not liked at all, you know. And they've told him, like, because he was running away so much, the fiddler, he goes, where are you gonna go, you know? And that's a lot of the reason you see that they're not like just chained up all the time, because he's like, dude, if you try running, they're gonna find you, and it's gonna be so much worse for you. They're gonna like hurt you and abuse you and do like horrific shit. And he's like, hardly anyone makes it. So where are you gonna go? And he fucking lost the foot. So, Kunta Kinte. Where does he go from there? Oh, yeah, he's trying to hold on to his African heritage. The only thing he does that he can consistently do is, like, he keeps a gourd he puts pebbles in it for each moon, so that's how he keeps track of how old he is, you know? Because he doesn't go by years back in where he came from in Jafar. He goes by rains. Every year it rains there. They count that as a fucking year, you know? Rain this year. Finally. You're older now. Some ladies trying to lie about their age. They're like, ain't rained in 10 years, motherfucker. Take a shot. Fiddler, the gourd. Ooh, I am on track with my notes. Oh, yeah. He's like, dude, okay, for sure cancel me for this, but it was like funny whenever the fiddler said it. For sure cancel me. I'm just calling it. Kunta Kinte is horrified. He sees this black slave nursing a black child on one breast, and on the other breast is nursing a white child. And he's like, that is fucking not right. Like, Kunta Kinte doesn't even eat pork around. He's like, I'm not with the way you motherfuckers do this shit. And Fiddler's like laughing at him. He goes, ain't no massa, ain't never done but sucked on a black mammy before. All right, take a shot, cancel me. But I had to put that across. That was pretty funny fucking writing, Alex Haley. You know that. You're trying to get us. You know it. You know it. Here am I telling him what he did. Fucking all the same shit. Okay. So, Kunta Kinte's got this life going, and you kind of ease into it with the reader. Like, so much horrified shit has happened. But, he, like, comes across another guy who's also, like, African, from Africa. It's, like, not many slaves you found. Like, most of them were born into slavery and stuff at this point. And they're still bringing them all over, but it's, like, to really come across one that you get a chance to talk to, it's like, oh, you're from Africa? I'm from Africa? So they speak a little language, you know? And the dude tells me, he's like, yo, dude, you gotta have a family. You gotta, fucking get your life going. You're gonna be here. You get your life going. So, fucking Kunta Kinte looks around his options, you know? It's about like what people gotta do in small towns. They're like, all right, so there's like this girl that's cool, kind of ugly. This girl that's like hot but like crazy, and those are my options. Is that life though? What was I thinking? Kunta Kinte. Oh, okay. But I guess he spots a third option. He goes, there's this girl that has a really nice ass. I think that's what he noticed. And he doesn't like that she's shaking it. So Belle, the house cook, he's like, all right, she's pretty cool. Like in general. She's pretty fucking hot, you know. All right, baby. All right, maybe I should settle the fuck down. Maybe I should quit tomcatting off, which he's not. He's like a man of respect. He's very religious. He's not Christianity. He's like, Christianity, what the fuck is that pagan ass shit? I'm about some Muslim shit. Take a shot. Probably can't say shit when you say that after. All right, where am I at? Kunta Kinte gets married, and right away they want to have a kid, And I'm like, how's that gonna go? Are you fucking kidding? Like, I'm scared of having kids right now and just like life where you can fucking whip out a bunch of credit cards and pawn off some shit. This motherfucker, how are you gonna do it? What's gonna happen? They sell people. Whatever. He has her, and he loves her. And he names her Kizzy, which fucking Belle, his wife, does not want to name her because he's like, dude, even like just bringing up African anything, if the massa recognizes that that's fucking like you doing some African shit, we might just get sold right away. Names her Kizzy. Whispers in her ear, does some little bit of African shit that she just fucking not like. She goes, give me that baby back. You done doing your voodoo? You doing your voodoo? Cultures clashing. That's love. So they have Kizzy. Right away, Massa John Walla, his niece, Missy Ann, loves Kizzy. Kunta don't like that. He's like, fuck you, you're a fucking tabab, you suck. Like, I don't care how nice, everyone kind of acts and cordial. They tell him that they're like, we have a nice Massa. And he's like, yeah, bullshit, okay? Ain't no Massa nice, okay? They're fucking the devil, okay? Which they are. Missy Ann loves Kizzy. They grow up. They're growing up. They're like best friends. And some people start telling her, they're like, yo, that's a good thing. Because in some places, there's stories of like girls that grow up together, and then like the fucking one of the friends, the slave friend, the black friend, she'll get sold, and the fucking white girl will be so distraught that they buy her back. They'll be like so like deathly ill. So fucking, they grow up together. She starts teaching Kizzy how to read and write, which is not approved of. Like, dude, if they know that you can read and write, you're getting sold down south. If you get sold down south, it's worse because like the further south you go, the more you're abused. I think that's kind of the hierarchy. This way it's explained here. He's like, dude, some people get sold to the south and they're like literally worked to death. Like literally worked to death, on the fucking field. Where was I? Okay. So at this point, he's trying to fucking teach his daughter African heritage. This is like the beginning of the shit. He points at a guitar. He calls it a ko. He points at a river. That's a fucking Kambe Belongo. He tells her, she asks what happened. He's like, yeah, I was in Africa. I was out looking for wood to make a drum. He got fucking captured. And, he tells her to fucking hold on to her African heritage and shit. Anyways, she starts growing up. The years go by. You're just like, how is this gonna fucking go? I don't think it's gonna go good. I'm gonna need a shot before I get any more fucking canceled. Kizzy falls in love. And it kind of falls in love. There's another boy on the fucking plantation, Noah. And he's a fucking slave. He's born into there. And he goes up to Kunta one day, and he goes, hey, dude, I can't handle this shit. I gotta run. I can't put up with this shit. And Kunta's like, I'm not gonna tell you not to run. I'm gonna tell you better be ready to die if you're gonna. He's like, don't take my fucking daughter. He's like, I'm not taking your daughter. I'm going up north, and I'm gonna try and fucking escape and then get a job, and I'll buy her back. It's like, okay, that sounds good. That sounds great. Do it. So Noah runs off. The next day, they call for Kizzy because apparently Kizzy wrote a fucking fake traveling pass for Noah. And so right away, they like, boom, she's gone. We're selling her. And you're like, heart fucking shatters, breaks in half, in a million pieces. Fucking Kunta's like, they're freaking out. They're like, no. And I'm like, at this point, I'm thinking Kunta's going to fucking like hit Master John Walla. He's going to fucking try like giving everything. Dude, he's like, he's gone. And Kunta's like, oh my God, I'll try doing some African shit. He tries grabbing some dust off the floor to do a little like spell that he once knew about. If I put these somewhere safe, then her footsteps from this dust she will return with her footsteps one day again safely. And he goes to put them in his gourd where he keeps all his pebbles. And then he's like, fuck, because he knows he'll never see her again. He just throws it and shatters it across the fucking floor. And you're like, oh my God, this is the fucking worst. Ugh. And then we switch main characters. And then we go to Kizzy. And it starts off as bad as it could possibly start off because she's like fucking 14. boom, New Massa down south, fucking creep McGee, evil upon evil. And I think this is North Carolina. They were in Virginia, and I think it's North Carolina they get, so it's like a little further south. I should have fucking looked up my geography for this. Anyways, she gets raped right away, and that's her life for a while, and it's like horrifying. I literally don't think I wanted to keep reading. I was like, dude, okay, I ended on Kunta Kinte. That was fucking crazy. I was like, I feel like I fucking get it. I fucking don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's so, I'm like, you're flying through because it's so, like, detailed and good, and then it's like, it's so bad. It's like the worst shit ever. She has a kid. Ugh. Which you're like just horrified over because like, oh man, you're so happy that you know, was going to continue the bloodline, but it's like, oh, it's this fucking white master's fucking kid and shit. It's like, she talks about how her dad would like, not like, well, not dig it, but it's like, I don't know. So this is this kid, and she's like, not even wanting it, you know, not really. So dejected, so depressed. She doesn't like her, you know, obviously she doesn't like her life, but it's like, she can't fucking go on. And there's other people on the plantation, they're like, you know, they're fascinated. The other slaves, they're like, they start falling in love with the kid. And they start like, it brings them life. And they tell her, they're like, hey man, I'm so like, obviously, but they're like, maybe, you know, this is your family, we're supported. They're like, you know, Uncle Pompey over there that never fucking says a word, he's like lighting up. He's playing with his kid. He's like, the whole place fucking loves him, you know. And the kid grows up, and he's like hilarious. The kid grows up, he's like fucking badass at impressions and shit. He's literally walking around doing impressions of the massa, and everyone's like loves this fucking kid. He's like gives the fucking place life, you know. His name's George. She wanted to give him an African name, and she was like so horrified that they would like die or worse. So he just got some white ass towel bob named George. Sorry, pal. No offense to all Georges out there, but with all due respect, take a shot. So George, he's a big hit. He's even a hit with the fucking white people. They even like him. As evil as they are, and they're like nasty, and the guy's like super bipolar alcoholic. And he's like, yeah, a crazy fucking rapist, you know. They love him, though. Everyone loves him. And you're like, okay. Like, he's literally like entertaining house guests and shit. And I don't know. George is like a fucking hit. Kizzy is like settled fucking into like her life, you know. She's like a mother. And she's fucking she tells George right away about fucking Kunta Kinte. She goes, let me tell you the story. And this is like the first time that she starts like getting back. Cause she's like, okay, I got this child. And she tells him about the Cambi Blanco, all the shit. And she's like, you fucking tell your kids this shit forever. And that's how the fucking roots fucking keeps going, you know? This kid, George, apparently this master is like really into fucking chicken fighting. Apparently that was a hoot, pun intended. And he's got like more than farming, he's into chickens, okay? So he gets young George, this motherfucker, into chicken fighting. Because he's like, I need help because I got this old trainer. He's like, I got to make George the new trainer. So he grows up being like a master of fucking chicken fighting. He's badass into it. They call him Chicken George. And he's like, I don't know. The master doesn't fucking acknowledge that he's his kid, even though he knows, you know, but it's like, he doesn't treat him like that. He's like another slave to him. But in other terms, they do like develop the closest bond because he likes him, because he's fucking like worth the most money to him, basically. So he grows up fucking gambling, and he loves his fucking... He loves his life in a lot of ways. He honestly does. He knows that guy's his dad because his mom freaks out and tells him one day. She's like, the only reason he's being nice to you because you fucking worth something to him. Because even he's your... I don't know. He's like, he's your dad. Drop that bomb on you, motherfucker. Okay. Chicken George. Chicken George gets married. He just has to jump the broom. They call it jumping the broom, you know? And they fucking like... You know, he goes over to another plantation... Apparently he does a lot of tomcatting around. They're like, he done tomcatting off. Because you could, like, run over to the next plantation if you're if you get caught, yeah, you probably might get your fucking foot cut off. But if you make it back the next day... I didn't realize that. And that's kind of cool. Take a shot. canceled because obviously nothing's cool about it. But, in that fucking vein of you're stuck, you're enslaved, the fact that you went out and got a piece of ass in the middle of it, like that's... I mean, he's living. He's doing what he can. He's not living. Okay, take a shot. Anyways, he settles on a bitch that fucking captures his heart, making him want to jump the broom, and marries her. Has like 8 kids. God, that's too many. Especially in that dangerous environment. I mean, fuck. Anyways, they go to some huge-ass chicken fight one day, and, like, Chicken George, he's a fucking rambler. He's still tomcatting off. They go to the fucking place. He's all, They go bet, like, the house. They bet everything. And up to this point, Chicken George he's saved up a bunch of money, and he flat out tells Master Tom Lee, he goes, dude, I ain't going to bullshit you. I've saved up all my money, and for all this side betting you're going to let me do today, I'm planning on making so fucking much that I buy my freedom. And the fucking Master Lee goes, dude, I'm going to make so much fucking money, I don't even, like, need many slaves anymore. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to fucking make you free after we win a shitload of money. So they go, they win a shitload of money. This English motherfucker wants to say, he's like, rematch, double or nothing. And you're like, no. And they lose. Because that's the way the book goes. You get excited for 2 seconds. You quit raping. They're just fighting chickens. Chickens are dying for no good reason. And you love it. And then they fucking... and they lose everything. He loses everything. So there's fucking everything. So bad that he loses George, this motherfucker. He goes, dude, the only way I'm going to settle this debt is if I let you go to England with this motherfucker for like 4 years. He goes, and when you come back, you're free. I promise. And you're like, fuck, what? No. Anyways, his whole family gets sold off. All the fucking boys who are like teenagers, they get sold off amidst everything because of fucking while he's in England. Kizzy, he's told the story about Kunta Kinte to everybody and Kizzy, and they fucking love their great grandma or their grandma Kizzy. They all get sold away from her though, so Kizzy stays there with the fucking other people. She's fucking devastated, and they're like, okay, don't worry, when Chicken George is back, we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna get back Kizzy back, we're gonna get all the shit. And they go to this new plantation, which is better in the terms of fucking how hard it is. All the boys that fucking they all become like fucking men of the house, especially this one that's like named after the last fucking owner. So Tom he becomes like a blacksmith, fucking one of Chicken George's kids. What happens? Chicken George comes back after 4 years. Chicken George rides fucking back home, sees they're all gone. Kizzy's died. That sucks. He's so fucking pissed. He gets fucking his homie so drunk he gets the paperwork for his freedom. He goes back to his fucking homies, not his homies, his family, his goddamn kids. Ugh. Not only is this a hard book, we're late into this podcast. As always, I wrap it up. Take a shot. I don't know. I'm on course, actually. I'm doing good. So, Civil War starts happening. And you learn history throughout this book very much. And they're all following it. Like, all the fucking slaves, they get the news by listening to the fucking everyone, what they say whenever they're, like, over fucking listening to the conversation of their masters and shit. And they're the fucking Tauba white people motherfuckers. So they, like, know what's going on. They know about the fucking... There's a war in, like... Is it Cuba? Haiti? I wish I remembered. You learn about some Toussaint motherfucker. He was badass fighting for freedoms and shit. I don't know. Anyways, Abraham Lincoln's coming. Log fucking cutting Lincoln is coming. And they fucking like, come on. Give us our fucking freedom. And they get free. And it's like, you're page 600, and you're like, I wish all the bad shit didn't happen. But they keep passing on the story. You know, that's good. They stuck together as much as they could. And they pack up. They try to get in their own land. Right away, they face oppression from other white people that don't want Tom the blacksmith to do some badass blacksmithing. But, you know, they have, you know, the family spread out. Tom has some babies, and they keep telling the story all the way down to 1930. Where Alex Haley is born. The guy who wrote this shit, okay? And he was taught this story. Okay. Now here's where some fact checkers say it's bullshit. And he also paid a little bit of money, and he had to admit some passages were plagiarism from this other guy. Wrote this book called The African. So in court, now I'm wondering what that is, because he does say it's fiction. So I'm wondering if he like took his dad's story, or not his dad's, his great grandpa Kunta Kinte that he had heard, and I'm wondering if he like, okay, for the story elements, I'm gonna kind of look at the arc of how he did this, you know. So what? Okay, I'm not saying he whatever. There's one strike against him. Okay, much that. The other one, he went through and corroborated like slave records. He saw like where Kunta Kinte was sold. Now apparently Kunta Kinte was sold, or like Kunta Kinte is the name of a real like fucking African, okay, which fucks me up because okay, he corroborated the slave records of when he was sold. However, the slave named Toby on John Waller's ranch, it showed in the records, had already been on that ranch before Kunta Kinte got sold, like 5 years before, like in the actual records. And there's never any record of anyone named Kizzy ever. Now, after that, with after that, whenever like Chicken George, his family had got sold, there's some records of like their daughters being named Kizzy, because they were supposedly named after. Now, Alex Haley refuted a lot of this, and he goes, hey, you say what you want about the fucking records. You know, a lot of records are fucking written down as bullshit, and it's lies anyways. You know, I can relying on the oral history passed on. He's like, that's more reliable in a lot of cases. So we can say that. Now, also, Alex Haley went back to Jafar. He found out by telling him the sounds, people trying to locate the language that he was talking about, and he corroborated it with, it's Jafar. Okay. Now, one of his best friends said, he goes, the idea that he found the actual village is highly unlikely. He goes, this whole story's like got so many true elements of things that happened, and he's like, I will say the book is so important, but I don't think he found the thing. But Alex says he did, and he went to this village in Jafar, and they told him, because they have like people that just memorize. They're called griots. Yeah, the griots who just like memorize history. Like that's their actual fucking job. He found this griot from Jafar, and he's like, yeah, dude. This was Kunta Kinte. His dad was Amaro. He fucking had these sons. He was out chopping wood, and they captured him. He goes, I was chopping wood for a drum, and they captured him. That's what I always heard. Now, he created, allegedly, what people say that call him out as some fact checkers, circulatory reporting, because he thought he was looking for a guy named Kunta Kinte, and so he told people before his trip that he was doing this, thinking he was going to line these dots up. And so the guy that told him the story already knew that. So he like told him what he wanted to hear. And because some people from like that village or that area in Gambia, they even told him, they're like, hey, that guy was kind of full of shit. He wasn't like an official griot, you know? I don't know. I will say, enough fucking dots line up that, okay, take a shot, because I'm not saying this is some fucking Holocaust denying fucking shit, but it's just like enough dots line up that this pretty much happened to me. That the fact that there's enough words passed on, he knew the name Kinte. You know, maybe he didn't find the exact village, but there was a story passed on throughout his family of the African. You know, a guy who's the first of their ancestors, you know, of a line, you know, and with other things. See, everyone was mixed up amongst different bloodlines. Indian, Native Americans, as they call them. I think they're just called natives, if you think about it. The fucking, you know, the OG homies. They're in there. They're mixed in with the blood. It's everything. It's a big, huge mixed up history. It's everything. It's everything. Anyways, the point is, it was good. And I think that is valid no matter what. Obviously, this shit happened. Did he find his original fucking place? Is it all lined up, you know? I don't know. To me, you can't give him a hard time because he released it under fiction, bitch. You can't even give him a hard time, okay? You only got to respect the fucking art. And as far as the fucking cheating, the taking from shit, Well, I don't know. I can't act like I'm some original guy. I didn't invent the motherfucking guitar or a film, you know. That's how I always go back to it. I'm like, I don't know, this is stiff. But Picasso fucking stole all this shit, you know. This guy's good at writing. It's a great book. It's the best book ever. You know. Take a shot. All right? All right. I called it. Just so you all know. I called it.